Today I'm talking about the difference between growing a following online versus growing a community online. And I see this problem happen for people all of the time. They are showing up consistently online. They are creating all of the content. They are deep diving other people's Instagram accounts to know what kind of reels or carousels or videos should be shared. They're adding trending sounds, they're adding hashtags, they're adding locations, all of the stuff so that they can get more reach, so that they can get more people to hit follow on their account. And then what I see happen often is they go to launch an offer at some point down the line, and yes, they have all the followers there, but nobody is hitting buy. That is the primary difference between having the intention of growing a following online versus growing a community. When you're growing a community online, those offers that you're creating are for a specific person, and that person has opted into your social media space because of specifically what you've been talking about in your messaging. It all comes down to intention. And, the people who are in my world are not influencers. We are not looking to be social media influencers out there. And the only reason a lot of us even have a social media account is because we have a business. We're business owners. And so we've got to create the mentality behind what kind of content it is that we're creating for what reason, and it's not to go viral. So how do you go about creating a community online rather than blind followers? Well, when you are sitting down to create your marketing and your messaging and your content, I want you to start thinking about the pillars that represent your business. Can you come up with 3, 4, or 5 categories that you want to talk about that are directly related to your business? Is well-being or wellness one of those pillars or categories? Is nutrition one of them? Is yoga one of them? Is language one of them? Is mindfulness one of them? Is gardening one of them? Like, basically, whatever your niche is, come up with 3 or 4, maximum 5 topics that you want to create content around. And let that be the thing that you always talk about. You don't need to keep coming up and creating new things all the time. You can have lots of different subcategories underneath those topic headlines, but let them be the core of what your brand is built around. And then the most important piece is your unique voice coming through, your unique message coming through, your core values coming through. When you speak, when you show up and you show your face and you share your voice and you show your body language and all of these kinds of things, you are showcasing and letting people hear who you are, like the essence of who you are, not just what it is that you're selling for your business. And people buy from people at the end of the day. We've heard this for so long, and it's because it's true. People buy from people. People buy from people who they can relate to, or they buy from people who are like them. So your unique selling sauce happens to be yourself, which is bloody great when you really wrap your head around that, because you don't actually need to be anybody else whatsoever. You don't need to try to be anybody else whatsoever. You get to show up with your unique way of thinking, your lived experience, your content pillars, and your brand voice, sharing what your core values are. And these are all of the unique ingredients that create the recipe for growing a community online and not a following. Now, once you get the right people hitting follow on your social media account, what you really want to be doing as a savvy business owner is leading them to a place that belongs to you, because the social media space doesn't belong to us. It's an amazing place for visibility. It's an amazing place for reach, but we are all up against the algorithm in terms of whether it wants to push our content out or not, whether it deems it great content or not. And when you're not chasing viral trends, often it's not going to be to Instagram's standard of a viral type thread or a reel that they're going to push out there. So what you want to do is lead the people who are hitting follow on your account to a place that you do own. Typically an email list. This is a brilliant, brilliant thing to start doing as early as possible inside your business and getting into the habit of communicating via email with those people who've raised their hand and said, I'm interested to hear more about you. I'm interested to learn more about what it is that you're talking about. Those people are your warmest leads because they have heard what it is that you're talking about on social media. They have connected with you as a person and with your values, and they've held their hand up and said, take my email address in return for, whatever it is that you are offering them. So what can you do to get people on your email list? Because it used to be a case whereby you'd say, join my newsletter, my weekly newsletter, and give me your email address and hear from me every single week. But our inboxes as consumers, our inboxes have become so noisy that we are not readily giving out our email addresses to people anymore. So you've got to give them a good reason for swapping their email address with you. So when you think about your business, you think about the offer that you have inside there. Who are the ideal people that it is that you're trying to connect with? And what is the very starting point that they're at that makes them the exact right place and time and person to be able to enter into any one of your offers? So break it down. I don't know how many offers you have in your business. You might have 5 offers, you might have 1 offer, but for the moment, just think about 1. And what I come across with women so often who are running lead magnets is they've created a lead magnet that is too far in advance for the person who they're actually looking to bring into their program. And it's almost like this curse of knowledge, whereby the amount of knowledge and expertise that you have in your head now, you're imagining that those people out there who are watching and listening to you have a certain level of knowledge, before you. But what I want you to try and think about is, where were you 5 years ago? Did you have so much of that knowledge 5 years ago, or were you starting at zero? Like, where were you and who were you trying to attract? And if it's somebody at a beginner level or a beginner stage in whatever niche it is that you're in, I want you to wind yourself back to that time and ask yourself, what would have really made the difference for me at that stage that would have allowed me to just take one teeny tiny step in the right direction? It doesn't need to be monumental. It doesn't need to be like the thing that blasts through and solves all their problems and achieves all their goals, because that's not real life. Whatever niche or industry it is that you're in, ask yourself, what is the first teeny tiny step that person could take that could just get them on the right trajectory towards what your offer is doing for them, like the problem that your offer is solving for them. What is the first step that they could take before being ready for that? That's how you bring them onto your list. That's how you get them in there in the first place. And once you've done that, once you've got their treasured email address, now you've got to protect that with care, because as soon as you start spamming that or just sending content for the sake of content, or using AI to script all of your emails, or ghosting it, all of these things makes you lose the trust that person had with you in the beginning. And once you lose their trust, you know what? It's really hard to win it back. So as an intelligent business owner, when you're starting out with this perspective of being very intentional about the kind of community that it is that you're growing online, the kind of aligned audience that it is that you're building, the kind of navigation pathway that you're leading them onto your email list, I want you to give the same thought and consideration into how you are now sharing with them via email. What kind of content are you putting across them? How can you continue this level of trust that you've already built up minutely? How can you continue this so that you can, at some stage, when it makes sense, lead them towards that offering that makes the exact right sense for them? So what I want you to do next is come and find me on Instagram at the Lorna Lyons and tell me, do you have a lead magnet? Do you have a lead magnet yet? And if not, let's chat about what yours could look like. I can't wait to hear from you.